The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a big show for you all tonight. And as you can see, he's here tonight from Crescent City Sports, VK Jones. What's up, VK?
The man, the myth, the legend has returned. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Had to go do some work. You know, yeah. You the man, bro. You always the man. But on the heart and soul of this thing,
so
you know,
boy, what is he talking
yeah.
about? Well, go ahead. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No. I'm just. Jared knows, like, he's a man, but he knows. A lot of times they always tell me, and he told a lot of people, I can't do this without you. So I know I'm glad that I'm back, saying the man, myth, of the legend, because I'm everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the Stephen A. Smith of this thing. So that's just what it is. I'm doing baseball and basketball stuff as well, but I'm glad to be back. I'm here tonight. I'm here tomorrow. So like, share, tag, and subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms. We got 3 big guests on the hoop side tonight, and we're looking forward to bringing them on and everything. Hopefully, George Pepper's joined us later, but at the same time, it's good to be
Definitely.
back.
8 o'clock. The head coach of the Holy Cross Tigers boys basketball team, Coach Mister Kirkwood, will join us at 8:30. The head coach of the John Curtis Patriots boys basketball team, Coach Biko Paris, will join us, and hopefully within the next couple of minutes we can get the head coach of the UNO Lady Privateers basketball team, Coach Trelanne Powell. Hopefully we can get her on here in a second. But while we are waiting on her, me and VK, we're going to start off talking a little bit about the boys' playoffs, which will get started with some games tomorrow, but most games on Friday. VK, I'm going to start with Division One. Give me your thoughts on the 4 teams you think that will get to Lake Charles.
And this is Division One
Non-select, non-select.
select, or this
Yes,
non-select. Okay, we're going non-select. All right, we can go this route right quick here. My four, what I'm saying, I'm thinking they could get there. I think Zachary will definitely get there. They're on a road to vengeance this year. They want to get redemption after a couple years ago. Um, the Ruston Bearcats, I think, will make their return as well. They've been a very consistent program the last couple of years, as much as
So
the
you,
basketball team is
you
doing
got
well,
you got Ruston
not
defeating
football.
Zachary in the quarterfinals.
Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to relook at it. You're right, my friend. Sorry about that. One side is Zachary. I wouldn't be surprised if Zachary and Ruston in the quarters. But I think that's going to be a great quarterfinal there. Um, Zachary, my other three, and this middle one is interesting in itself. It could come down to a Natchitoches Central Denham Springs quarterfinal. But one of these other teams, like a Saint Amant or Mandeville, might mess some things up if they make some upsets. But I'm gonna go with Denham Springs to finally get out of it, make the top 28 for the first time since Tasman Mitchell, and that's been a long time. So I think they're gonna get there. Also, I think New Iberia will make their return back to the top 28. It won't be easy. I really think a team like a Walker, or not just that, maybe a South Side that is a really good up and coming program that's been really making strides, just like the football team. They could give New Iberia time, but I think New Iberia makes their return. And the fourth team, the defending state champs. Defending state champs will get back to it. Looking at their matchups, it could be if they get to Central, that could be an interesting matchup. But Slidell it could be something if they have a district rematch against Slidell in the quarters. So we'll see what happens. But I think, like I said, Ponchatoula, New Iberia, Denham Springs, and Zachary.
Well, in non-select, my four are number one seed Zachary. I think they get back. They're on the mission after what happened to them last year, not being able to go to the playoffs due to the altercation with Liberty. I have Natchitoches Central getting to the semifinals. I have New Iberia, and I have the defending state champions, Ponchatoula. Those are my four to get there. I will say I think Southside and New Iberia will be a tough matchup. And I would also go to say that I think Ponchatoula and Zachary may have the most favorable matchups in their brackets. That's my opinion. Now, we're going to move on to Division 1 Select, which is going to be tough in itself. And I have you go first, VK. Who are your four semifinalists?
Whew, this is a tough one here, a little bit here. My four semis, and it depends on experience and everything else. Liberty is one of my semis. Liberty's probably been the best team all around in the state of Louisiana, and they've been so consistent all year. They have a great resume going into this tournament. I think they be there. I think they'll get there, and it will be a great matchup against Lafayette. But I think they'll get it done. My other team, and this is where it gets a little tricky right here. It gets a little tricky. I'm gonna go with Edna Carr to come out and get into the top 28. The other team, I think, is going to get there. And here's the thing: it's gonna be just like in football. Certain teams that has not been there in that kind of tournament deep there, they might not get there. But I'm like this: I wouldn't be surprised, Brother Martin gets into the top 28. I would not be surprised. You have to think Captain Shreve has not been in this stage before. They have not been this deep. Southwood has been in a top 28 Final Four only once in their history. And that was like I think that was when John Ehret was last in the top 28 with Alfred Payton. So the last time we heard from Southwood in the top 28, especially on the boys' side. So I think Brother Martin might surprise some people and get to the top 28. And the other team that will go into the top 28, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna go with the Jesuit Blue Jays. The Jesuit Blue Jays will make it through. Don't be surprised. You might have a Jesuit Bonneville in the quarterfinals to go to Lake Charles.
Ooh. Man, my man coming with a 16 seed, a 9 seed. Where's Brother Martin? An 11 seed and a 2 seed. Oh, I see you, VK, all over the place. All right. Well,
I'm like this. I just got to get information. I know a little bit about the Southwood Boys program that's been really coming up and everything else. My biggest thing, and that might be a Lamar Gafford question. What about this Captain Shreve team and about this Pineville team? That's the only thing I need to find out how real these people is, because we didn't see this before when people don't have that track record. They go against a team that got the track record and they get caught up.
Well, my friend, you know what, Reggie? Okay, Reggie, I got you. Go
What he
Sabres.
said?
This guy here.
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway,
that's going to change that.
I have Liberty. All right. I have Liberty there. You go to this the 3 seed, Captain Shreve, down to the 6 seed, Southwood. I think that is the toughest bracket to pick a team to get to the semis. I really think that's the toughest bracket, period. And you say, Brother Martin, could you say Rummel maybe? Could you say McKinley? That is the toughest bracket. Yo, I'm not even gonna overlook Woodlawn. That is the toughest bracket right there to pick a team to go. Oh man.
I get it. I definitely get it. You know, McKinley is they tough. You know, Woodlawn. They both come from tough leagues. I'm just the Cali League more than anything else to get there because of the fact of how up and down the league was. Like the entire district has made the postseason, and they made the postseason for a reason.
Yeah.
The thing is, Woodlawn and also McKinley, they gotta come with their best. They really got to, especially Devin Clark and his squad. Devin Clark's done a great job coaching over the years. He's in McKinley. You know, they could win against Rummel, but Rummel, they're battle tested, man. Them and Brother Martin, they're both battle tested.
Man.
Tough, huh?
Yeah, it is tough. It's tough because I've seen Brother Martin play, and I'm just not like solid with Brother Martin, but you could pick Brother Martin to get there. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say McKinley. I'm going to go out on a limb on that one. I think Pineville will get to the semis, and I think I think Pineville gets there. And then that top half of that first bracket, man, with St. Thomas More, Bonneville could be some road warriors. To be honest with you, they could be the road warriors that could break this bracket apart. Holy Cross and Jesuit round 3 going to be tougher than what people think it's going to be. But I'm going to stick with St. Thomas More getting to the semis. So STM, Pineville, McKinley, Liberty. Those are my picks to get to the semifinals. And Nick, I don't know what week league you're talking about. If you talk about Division 1 non-select or the Catholic League, but I don't think so, my friend. I will disagree with you respectfully. VK, let's go to Division 2 non-select, my friend.
Yes, sir.
And you could once again give me who do you have going to the semifinals.
Division 2 non-select.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go, and first of all, I think this is probably the team that's gonna be the favorite to win the whole thing. Iowa. Iowa is one of my semifinalists. The other one, and looking at it, Brewery has been having an unbelievable year, and I've seen them play. They're a very good team all around. They play really good defense. You know, I think Brewery will get there. I think Carroll will make their return, but I ain't gonna lie, it's not gonna be easy. I see a Carroll Bozier in the quarters, and that is going to be another monster matchup between those two teams there. The thing about Bossier, they in a lot of parties, man. So I'm telling you, you don't want to underestimate the Bearcats out of Bossier. So, but I like Carroll to come out of there to return right back again. And the fourth team is going to be the Wasserman Tigers, Casey Jones and his squad, and trying to win a state championship for his alma mater.
All right. I am in agreement with you. I have 1-4-3-2 also. Iowa, Bruley, Carroll, and Walsman. But I'm keeping an eye out on Northwest. Northwest has made a lot of noise this season and are the district champions of their district. So keep an eye out on Northwest and do not forget about Franklin Parish. I think they got to the title game last year, I
Yes,
believe.
yes, it sure did.
And Plaquemine has been there before. So let's not overlook those two teams. But I'm going with Iowa, Bruley, Carroll, and Wasserman. Now, Division Two select. I will let you go first again, my friend, with your top four in Division Two select.
All right, my four in Division Two select, and this is going to be I don't know about a toss up, but we'll see about that. Madison Prep is definitely going to get there to the semis. It's not a guarantee because I tell you one thing and one thing only: don't sleep on the Hand and Hawks. Don't sleep on the Hand and Hawks. Those cats there, those seniors, they put on the probably the second biggest upset in top 28 history, beating down Liberty, and they have no fear. So it would be interesting if they face Madison Prep in the quarters, but I think Madison Prep will get by in a tight one. I think I think Archbishop Shaw will get there, and they'll go against Vanderbilt Catholic, but it will not be easy, especially for those seniors from Vanderbilt Catholic. They're not going to give that game to Shaw night like that. They're not. And then I think Carver will make it back, trying to get that three-peat. But I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna be really tough because it's got to depend on how Lawrence Nathan and Deshaun Leatherman can work together, and they gotta be on the ball. They're gonna have a chance to win and try to win, get a three-peat. But I think that quarterfinal, look at them and probably Lafayette Christian. That is gonna be probably maybe the toughest matchup out of all the matchups we've seen because that could be a toss-up game. And then you got, I think Peabody makes it, and I think Landry they could get back to the quarters. They could get back. I really thought that Landry would be in a better position in the playoffs more than anything else. But when you've seen what happened the last couple of weeks and how the defenses have figured out Daryl Adams and the team and everything, Landry's going to make adjustments some way somehow because I'm telling you, it's going to be really really tough for them to get to the top 28, especially if they got to go on that road again. So it's Peabody, it's Carver, Archbishop Shaw, and Madison Prep.
Ladies and gentlemen, last year's Division Two select semifinals were Madison Prep against Archbishop Shaw, Carver versus Peabody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting semifinal rematches in Division Two select. It is happening. Madison Prep is getting back there. Archbishop Shaw is getting back there. I think Madison Prep and Archbishop Shaw have favorable brackets to get straight to the semifinals. I really do. I think these brackets work well for them, Madison Prep and Archbishop Shaw. When we come down a little bit further, I have Peabody again going back, and I have Peabody going back, and I have Carver. So, with that being said, I think we get the rematches of last year's semifinals. But I'm going to say this: that Carver versus Lafayette Christian ball game. I think that may be the toughest quarterfinal game that we will see in Division Two Select. I really think so. Do you agree with that? I think you said the same thing, VK.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I think
yes.
that's
I
going to
think
be.
that's going to be the tough. If they meet up, that's going to be a really, really tough quarterfinal. And Carver will host it. But I
Yeah.
know one thing for sure: Lafayette Christian is going to be ready to play and ready to go. And the pressure is really going to be on Lafayette Christian because the fact of the matter is you're coming into a tough environment, a really, really tough environment in Carver. Can they win it? They could. They have a chance. But at the same time, they got to come right. If they don't come right, the game will be over quickly.
Well, we do know Lafayette Christian has been to the championship game quite a few times before moving up to last year, so they have the experience. They do,
Mhm.
but this will be a tough one, man. Division 2 select. Man, I just can't wait till the playoffs start Thursday. Thursday. But
Thursday.
that's our breakdown right now for Division 1 and 2 select and non-select. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and we're coming right back with our first guest, the head coach and the athletic director at Holy Cross. You know, VK, this guy was at Archbishop Shaw my senior year.
I didn't know that.
I know you didn't know that. Yeah. He got a big
Wait,
smile about it.
wait. How you like? Wait. Did you didn't know that? Or you keeping secrets from me, dude?
I've been through this.
Oh
Sometimes I don't
Lord.
tell. Sometimes I don't tell you everything, VK. Gosh, it's okay, VK.
Mm.
Yes, we're gonna be back with Coach Mister Kirkwood right after this break, right here on the Hash It Out show. And welcome back to the Hash It Out show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy, along with my good friend that you can find on CrescentCitySports.com, the one and only VK Jones. Our next guest, he has his basketball team heading to the playoffs. He is the head coach and the athletic director at Holy Cross High School, the one and only coach, Mr. Kirkwood. Coach, what's going on? How you doing? And thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me tonight. It's a pleasure.
Definitely. Coach, let's get into it. What was the feeling pretty much about 10, 11 years ago when you became the head coach at Holy Cross?
Well, I mean, it was just, I wanted to change the culture. We were just getting back into the Catholic League because for my first 2 years there, we were in 4A. And so it was a really tough district. So going into the Catholic League, some things needed to be changed. And we did that. So basically, we went from nobody really knowing we existed in basketball to basically everybody knows we exist now. So it's been a lot of fun, man.
How has Holy Cross become very special to you?
Well, I mean, I got to share 7 great years with my son. So that made it extremely special. And just, it's a great environment. Our school represents the metropolitan New Orleans area when you talk about diversity. So it's a great institution in my mind because I looked at it through the eyes of my son.
You also are the athletic director. And I didn't know that until I did my research. And I found that like exciting to me that here's a black man at Holy Cross and he's the athletic director. Talk about when you was named being the athletic director.
Listen, I vividly remember the day like it was yesterday. I was sitting at home. It was uh, April of 2020. My principal called me and he said, "Hey, man, we need to come meet." My grandmother had just passed away, so I was dealing with that. I said, "Look, give me a few days to deal with my grandmother's passing. I'll come in and meet with you." I go sit in his office, man, and he had a big whiteboard with all these plans drawn up and was like, I want you to be the AD. And I was like, no, man, I'm a basketball coach. I don't want to be the AD. I'm a basketball coach. He was like, no, you the guy that's going to be the AD. And then the rest is history, man. We've taken it, and it's on a new level now. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be an African-American man sitting in that position. It's huge for our community. It's huge for our young men to see that, you know, they can achieve if they believe, basically.
This season, your team, y'all won your first 12 games out of 15. Then lost the next 11 out of 14. How were you, your coaching staff, and your team able to deal with that adversity?
Man, I'm a faith-filled guy. So I just kept telling them, look, the Lord has a plan for us. We relied on faith, and I just kept saying, we're going to be fine in everything that we're going through. There's a message, there's a lesson to take from it. And my guys kept believing. And so if you go back and look at our scores, we were never not in games. We lost to Jesuit the first time in overtime, blowing, I think, a 6 or 9 point lead with 3 minutes left. We missed 4 to 6 free throws down that stretch. You can't win games like that. So basically, we didn't hit free throws in some games. And if you look at scores, we lost a lot of close games. We were either leading going into the fourth quarter and just could not finish. But I mean, again, we lost a guy last year that averaged 20 points a game. You know, that's tough to replace. So we're basically trying to piece it together. And look, I would hate to be playing me right now.
Very well said. Let's go back to last Friday.
Yes, sir.
Game against Jesuit. You guys really needed this win to have a shot to make the playoffs. And you guys win, and you guys are in the playoffs. Talk about that victory over Jesuit, and then you telling your team that we're in the playoffs.
Well, again, man, like I said, I relied heavily on my faith during this process. One night I was craving Wingstop because I love their fries. I'm standing in the line at Wingstop, and a lady approaches me. I had on a Holy Cross shirt. She says, hey, sir, do you work at Holy Cross? I was like, yes, ma'am. She was like, I worked for a Holy Cross order in Ohio and through like the Holy Angels or whatever. And so her and I just went into a conversation and talking. And I was telling her about all these struggles that you're talking about tonight. She looked at me and she said, son, I'm going to be praying for you. You're going to win your game Friday night, and you're going to win in the playoffs. I stand in front of my kids that week and tell them about the encounter, and say I always would ask the Lord to give me a message to give to you guys to keep you actively engaged. And I told them that story. Well, we're practicing the other day, and the kids brought that story back up, man. Like, I was like, wow, like it couldn't have worked out any better. Now, on the basketball side, we played very well. We created turnovers. We hit free throws. We did a lot of things down the stretch to win the game. So we made it a little uncomfortable for them. And again, my guys just never quit. So they knew what was at stake. They knew if we won the game, we were getting in the playoffs. So there wasn't a conversation that had to be had. They already knew what was going on Friday night.
Well, Thursday night is Jesuit again at their place. How crazy is that? But talk about how hard it's going to be to go back into Jesuit. And I call their fans the Duke Crazies 2.0 because they are very loud up in there. But you guys are confident now knowing you can go there and get another victory.
Again, man, faith has it that we're going back. As I told my kids today, we're a 24 seed, man. Nobody really cares if you win in or lose. You're playing with house money. So go in there and play free. You have no pressure. If you lose, basically you were supposed to lose. If you win, Now you've shook up the bracket. It's going to be tough for an Alexandria team to beat us because now we're going to be rolling with confidence. So it's actually an exciting thing for me. And I think this is happening this way for a reason.
Definitely. VK.
Coach, man, good to have you on. Appreciate you agreeing to join us and everything. First of all, and I appreciate it. And I know we talked a little about the show and everything. I gotta ask you this, and I remember years and years ago when you first got to become a head coach, and I remember you took over the Bonnable program,
Yes.
and probably one of the most maybe awkward situations I have ever seen. You coached the team, you did pretty good up in there, but then all of a sudden, after 1 year, you're gone, but you wind up at Holy Cross. It seemed like you go from one opportunity and another opportunity comes and it's more bigger than it ever been. And you inherited a good team, but not just that, edifice in a gym that you have at Holy Cross, especially on the new campus.
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that question because I'll tell y'all this. I'm sort of a fossil because I'm sure y'all try to search me on social media and you can't find me. So there's not a lot out there circulating about me, which is fine. I'm not a guy to brag or boast, but I guess since y'all got me on this platform, again, man, that was a twist of faith. I took a job that basically was, I interviewed, I got the job, they agreed to hire me. I mean, the gist of the story is the principal that hired me got fired and the new lady came in and fired me. I ended up working at John McDonough for a little bit, and then I got the call to go to Holy Cross. And I mean, the rest is history. I don't look at that as a bad thing that happened to me. Again, I think that it was the Lord's way of putting me in the best situation. So again, he put me in the best situation. So as your parents tell you, just follow, man. That's just follow. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm living my life following, man. So I'm great. I tell everybody I'm winning that life, man.
And I ain't gonna lie, Coach, I was very, very happy for you when you had got that position at Holy Cross because of the fact of the matter is everything that happened and stuff, and knowing Coach Micah, myself, but then on top of that, knowing the history of Bonnable High. And it's just the fact that I'm like, I felt bad. I was like, man, Coach, I'm like, Coach Mister, I'm like, he just getting there. Nah, they just but then all of a sudden when you got the position, I'm like, because I knew Juan Loomis a long, long time. I mean,
Right.
Juan Loomis went to school together in St. Augustine.
Uh-huh.
So when he was told me, oh, I'm about to get out the door, I'm like, really? Like then all of a sudden when I heard your name, I was like, that's big, man. I think Kirkwood's gonna do a good job over there.
Well, look, I want to say this. Don't feel bad for me, man. Bonnable's loss was Holy Cross's game, man. That's how I look at it. I'm a life changer. I'm in this business to change kids' lives, man, because I feel like obviously when you go into education, you're going into education knowing that you're never going to be rich. It's basically, it's like a vow of poverty, man. You're going to make ends meet, but you're there to touch lives. And that's what I'm doing. This doesn't get brought up a whole lot, man, but since I've been the head coach, I've signed about 15 guys, man. How many programs can tell you that? Nobody talks about it because I'm not on social media. I don't do things to toot my own horn, but I think what I'm doing on the side of getting kids in college is way more than the wins and losses that everybody's focusing on. I'm getting kids in school, man. So that's, to me, like I told you, I'm winning in life, man.
Yep.
That's a really good thing, and that's a great attitude to have. Great attitude to have, especially going forward and everything else. You got support everywhere and all that. And it seemed like it was a great move for you bringing in Scott Watney as a head coach of the football team to turn around really, really quick. But then on top of that, it seemed like you, the Coach Watney, is kind of like on the same wavelength, especially speaking about life, speaking about religion, about Christ and everything else. It seemed like that's really big to try to reach students and reach people of life in itself, because hearing Coach Watney, I mean, it's really amazing. And I had to really, at signing day, I had to really shake his hand and tell him, like, keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is the Lord's work. And that's beyond whatever religion creed you worship.
Correct. Well, again, man, education is a vocation. I feel like I'm educated enough. I can go out and make a ton of money doing something else. But the most impact that I have is in education, man. Teaching our kids to, one, tuck in your shirt, wear your uniform properly, show up to class on time. I mean, you guys know this. Part of your fabric and your success is that you're former athletes. People are going to hire guys who discipline, structure, have faith, all those things, man. So Coach Watney and I we were aligned at the hip, man. Just when we were going through the interview process, he was talking like me. And so again, man, when I first took the job, I used to tell my guys, and if you meet any of them, they'll tell you, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just love y'all to death. And they would look at him like, Coach, that's kind of weird, man. I was like, man, I'm just telling y'all that, like loving y'all to victory. And then we won a ton of games. And then they started to say, well, Coach, man, that makes sense. Like, Khalil Thomas is one of them who's playing at Morehead State. I had a kid, Xavier McKay, who's playing at Dillard. My guy from last year, Devin Harris, is at Millsaps. And I mean, the list goes on, man. I had one or two kids play at Loyola. It's just, I could name countless kids. And I always ask parents, tell me what other coach in the city can say that.
You're absolutely right, Coach. You're absolutely right about that. The Holy Cross Jesuit rivalry, it goes really deep. You've been a part of it for a while, and you going against the elder statesman of the district, Coach Chris Jennings. It seemed like that rivalry goes deep in all sports. What you think about how that Jesuit and Holy Cross rivalry, just so much history in the city?
Well, it's meaningful to both institutions, the kids, faculty, staff. The entire Metropolitan's New Orleans community rallies around this game. It's probably one of the most important games for two institutions, no matter the sport, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's wrestling, whether it's baseball. Man, people are going to come out to watch this game. But like I always try to tell our kids that same energy and focus that you spend on Jesuit, you need to spend on everybody, because literally everybody's important. Yes, this is a rivalry game. Yes, it's a meaningful game, but everybody should get that same attention to detail.
And I'll tell you one thing, this could be one of the biggest Jesuit Holy Cross games to date that you're meeting in the playoffs more than anything else. And possibly if you guys get it done, you might create a big dent in the playoff bracket in itself. What you can say if your kids come out and really pull this thing off, because I know this game is going to go down to the wire once again.
Again, I just firmly believe that we have all the cards in our favor. We have no pressure on us. If we just play basketball, pressure's on them. I mean, remember, they're 9, we're 24. So what else do I need to say? But what I will say is this: we compete in the toughest district in the state, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but we got all of our teams in the playoffs. So again, if we beat them, it's going to be pretty hard to not pay attention to us the next few rounds, because my guys are definitely battle tested. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
Coach, your thoughts on how this year the Cat League has been, not just in basketball, but we've seen what we've seen in football this year. Possibly if we see the same thing in baseball, and I think Chris Jennings said it on our show, this is probably one of the best years ever of the Cat League. Could you say the same thing?
Yes. Now, what people don't understand is Coach Boyd just told you this a while ago. Like I was at Shaw when we had it rocking. So I mean, you're talking pre-Hurricane Katrina when you like I coached Tim Bush, Walter Haley, Marcus Duberclay, Kevin Slaughter. So I mean, this by far is from top to bottom across the board one of the better leagues, man. It's obvious. I think the football district was ranked 7th in the nation as toughest districts. Man, that's hard knowing night in and night out that you can't take a break, man. You got to prepare for everybody. So again, I've been in the league for a long time. I was an assistant at Shaw. I was an assistant at Rummel. A lot of people don't really know my resume because again, I don't go around saying all that stuff, but when you really dive into it, I've been around long enough that the success we're having is because I've been around great coaches. I've been in this league a long time, and I know the fabric of the league.
It's unbelievable. And Jared told me before the show, and I never knew this until you said it yourself. Like, I can't believe this boy. And this man is went to show. I'm a West Banker myself. Man, I literally live about 5 minutes from Shaw. 5 minutes.
So look, I'm gonna say this. Tommy Connors was there. Yes. Man, I'll do you one better. When I was at Rummel, Keith Fulton, Christian Fulton, Seaton Carter, Andre Tolliver, those were all guys I recruit. Well, I can't say that word. Okay. So I know what I'm talking about. Those are West Bank guys. Right.
And I think the time has changed more than anything else. You have to think about it now that more kids, with all these other systems now, that there's a lot more things in the country now that they're giving other students the rights, and it doesn't matter what area you're in to go to the school you want to go. It's called school choice.
Right.
And we're seeing it a lot more, not just across the country, but also in the state of Louisiana. So, if you would have said like, I kind of brought them into the school, that would have just merited right there,
The VK, listen, again, man, why? So this is another thing a lot of people don't know. So for years, while I was an assistant coach, I was coaching Kenner Biddy's All-Star team. And so while doing that, obviously we're playing JPRD East, JPRD West. And kids are seeing how I'm carrying myself, how I interact with my kids. And so in turn, that opened up a lot of doors for me. Even when I worked at Shaw, I was still coaching Kenner's Biddy team. So imagine I'm on the East Bank of Jefferson Parish seeing every kid, and then being on the West Bank seeing every kid. So it's all about relationships, man. I am still friends with the Fulton family. A kid, Dwayne Eugene, who played for us, I see Dwayne. I still communicate with those guys. Stephen Dunbar. I mean, all guys y'all know because they West Bankers, man. So again, I love when all of our schools are doing well. I love to see Shaw do well. I mean, Wesley played for me at Rummel. I love to see Jesuit do well. Jonathan and I were on staff at Rummel. Scott Tom, I love to see Rummel do well. We were all assistants in the league. Every coach that's a head coach in this league, we were all either once assistants together or we all know each other. So it's like there are no hidden secrets, man.
Let's go deep into a little bit of Black history a little bit. Okay. Now, you are the third African-American athletic director in the academy, because there are actually 3 of them, with the athletic director at Carr, the athletic director at St. Augustine, and yourself. What you could say about especially being a part of something unique in this league more than anything else, that a person of color get an opportunity to lead young men at all levels to the promised land.
Man, I'm glad you made that point, because I always tell people there are 3 of us in the league. Taurus Howard at Carl and Ryan Sims at St. Augustine. I said, but look at their situations. You know, Ryan's at an African-American institution. Taurus is at an African-American institution, basically. So my situation is monumental. And then I'm a young guy too. I know the gray hair is probably throwing y'all off, but I'm a young guy doing this, man. Like, you got to think all those guys, 30, 40 years of doing it, man. So it was big on our school because, again, color didn't matter. And so that's what I try and teach our young men. When you're choosing institutions, look at places that don't see color. And I always say, count the number of African Americans in your schools and see. So I always thought that, you know, Holy Cross was different because the school is a real representation of the metro area. And I don't mean just African American and Caucasians. We have Asians, we have Hispanics. It's one big melting pot, which is what our community looks like. So our school mirrors that. So to me, that's a great thing, man. So, you know, again, man, I education is the key. I think I'm highly educated. I'm qualified to do the job that I'm doing. And so by no stretch of imagination, you know, did anybody patronize me? I have the qualifications to do it. And then I'm just a grinder. Nobody outworks me, man. If y'all know anything about this league, to be the basketball coach and be the AD, man, that's tough to do. And it's being done, and it's being done at a high level.
Well, I'm actually just one more thing, and I'm gonna let JB close it out. At the time when you was assistant coaching at Shaw and everything else, and there was one coach, you can say they have like a coaching tree. Me and Jared talked about it, the Chris Jennings coaching tree. And one of the first people out of that tree, and I know you probably know, was Bernard Griffin. Bernard Griffin worked under Chris Jennings before he took the job at St. Augustine. And look what he's done over the years. Did you look up to Coach Griffin more than anything else, especially how he was breaking things down and trying to break barriers at St. Augustine?
So look, let me just put this out there. Absolutely, I looked at Coach Griff. I'm a member of the great Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and so is Coach Griff. So absolutely, absolutely, man. But even moreover, I just told my assistant coach, Greg White Pittman, this. Lineage matters in this league. So again, all of us are connected somehow. I worked for 2 guys at Ronald, Steve Alfonso and Troy Holly. Troy Holly worked for Chris Jennings. You know what I'm saying? So it's all lineage, man. Like I would tell people, you think football coaches, most of your Catholic League football coaches when I first started had worked for Hank Tierney, Jay Roth, Mark Sonji, Scott Bainsfather. You can go down a list of guys, man. Those relationships matter. And so a lot of people don't understand that. And also, I don't know if people remember this. I can't think of the guy's name, but before Chris Jennings, there was an African-American head coach at Jesuit. Not many people talk about that or know that. He's a basketball coach. That again, there's a lot that people don't know, man, because it's just it's not talked about very often.
Wow, it's amazing stuff, and you know, it's amazing that sometimes Black History Month is like not being what it is, but I thank God that sometimes certain people and platforms still try to point it out because it's still needed, especially around this world, especially for these new generation of kids. I got a 5-year-old daughter, and she discovering some things about African American history, and I'm like, yeah, they need to know because there's some people that broke their backs and their ancestors to set things up, not just for the rights, but for us to have the opportunity to achieve anything in this world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Again, it's not just about the month of February either. It's about the everyday life. We're supposed to be teaching our kids and giving them knowledge about our history daily. my staff and I are always explaining that to our young men. And look, it's not just about us, but it's about everybody understanding and knowing our culture, because a lot of people fear the unknown. So we have to educate them on how we interact and the things that we do. And I think it'll just make it a better world, man. So again, man, it's go out and do your homework, man. Seek knowledge, call people who know. So, I was excited about coming on here because, again, look, I love Chad, and I didn't realize that Jared was Chad's brother, So, I mean, again, I want some taekwondo lessons, man.
Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, man. I got you. Yes, indeed. Coach Mister, first of all, I want to thank you for joining us. Secondly, good luck Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Jesuit High School. Good luck to you and your crew as you go there to take on Jesuit in the first round of the playoffs.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Y'all keep achieving, man. This is a great thing for us, man.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right.
Coach Mister Kirkwood. Small world, huh?
It is. You got me on the phone talking about, oh, he was at Shaw when I was there. What you mean, dude? I'm like,
yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm like this. This is my friend. This is my good friend. It's like a brother to me and everything. But sometimes this fool right here, now I'll be telling him stuff. This fool be keeping some secrets. Oh my God, I cannot say any and everything.
I thought I told you at the Lario Center. I swear to God,
no,
I told you
you didn't.
Center, man.
You didn't. See, I'm not gonna tell everything he tells me, but at the same time, boy, that boy be keeping secrets. I'll be like, what you mean? And it's also that pops up in odd times. That's what it is. It pops up in odd times.
I could have sworn to God I told you, Coach Mister.
No, sir. Didn't know he was at Shaw. And then he put everything out. Like, bruh.
He said it all.
It's amazing to have him on. It's a great interview. We really broke some barriers in this interview.
Yeah.
The situation, I had to ask him about the situation with Bonobo because that was to me maybe one of the most kind of weirdest transitions I probably ever seen, because the understandability was there was a lot of history and politics that went on, and I felt bad for him because of the fact it was just the fact that Bonobo did something that they should have done in the first place, but all of a sudden they had to make it right. But for him to get that opportunity, I really was happy for him, because I'm like, this man deserves a position somewhere. This man deserves a job. And then when Juan Loomis told me he was thinking about stepping away, and I was kind of shocked because you already turning around the program. You didn't beat your alma mater, and now you didn't got some good teams up in there. But he was like, I got to give this thing, think about my kids, think about my children. It's like, all right. And then he told me about who he was getting. And I was like, I think that's a good move. I think Kirkwood's done a great job over there.
He has done a wonderful job.
And also he revealed a lot of history tonight, man.
Sure did. Whole lot of history. Man. But he's the head coach at Holy Cross, the AD at Holy Cross. But if you didn't know, he is a religious person, as you can tell. Religious person.
Him and Scott Watney, man. I mean,
yeah.
They're like what and what, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, man, 2002, my senior year, he was at Shaw. That's over 20 years ago. Yes.
And how you let him get away?
That's another story for another day.
Another day. No disrespect to Coach Wesley. He's done an unbelievable job.
Oh, he ain't got nothing to do with that. That's way before his time. Way before his time, man. That's just,
because nobody,
a big transitioning period for Shaw when all that stuff went down.
Because nobody knew how good Coach Kirkwood is to look at it now, and it's amazing. But you're right, that was a hard transition for Archbishop Shaw. Period. But now it's good that y'all have come back to the scene. As much as I was a pure D hater of the University of Archbishop Claw High School.
You still are.
I'm not. Listen,
still be hating at times.
Listen to me. I respect it, because it's almost like I'm a Florida State fan and I feel sorry for the University of Miami, because I want a team to get good again, to bring that intensity back, to seeing how good it is. When St. Aug and Shaw went at it in the Jamboree, and St. Aug wound up winning regardless. Shaw showed me a lot that night. And like Shaw already been showing me something, but when I started seeing more of the progress, the numbers and all, I was just like amazed. And I was like, if Shaw stays in this division, I see them winning a state championship in football in about a year or two. It's happening. They're going to get one before they get back in the academy. They're going to get one because that's what they have right now in the basketball team. Who knows? This might be their year. Might be. So it's just a fact. And Coach Wesley, give him a lot of credit. He's been getting better and better. He was a little bit on the hot seat. That's out the window. That's gone.
When was Wesley on the hot seat?
What, a couple years ago. That was like it wasn't
I
flaming.
don't think so.
I'm saying it wasn't flaming. No disrespect. Shout out to Coach West, but it was a lot of talks, a lot of rumblings. But that got buried when he got them to the top 20.
I never heard that.
That was totally buried.
He got to the playoffs, got him first playoff win in so many years and everything. I never heard that.
Well,
I never heard that.
well,
But I mean,
like I said,
he's changed the culture and the whole
he
program.
has. He
And he
has.
even said it here. He called Darren Letch and asked him what he had to do. Like he was determined to change that program.
Wow. He called Darren Latch that, bruh. And to me,
It was me and George. It was me and George. Yeah, you wasn't. You was.
I wasn't there that night.
You was on assignment. He said.
Yeah.
He said I called Darren Letch and asked him what is it I got to do to turn this program around.
Probably one of the greatest show coaches ever at that school.
Pretty much.
But at the same time, we can't forget this. We can't forget about Joey Stibing. That's who won that first state title up at Shaw. So we can't disrespect the great Joey Stibing. Joey Stibing. Then you got Darren Letch, and now you have Wesley Laurendine.
Laurendine. That's right. That's right. Let's get back to this basketball game that's happening Thursday night, not Friday night. Thursday night. Jesuit, Holy Cross. What are your thoughts about what may happen come Thursday night, round 3 of this year between Jesuit and Holy Cross?
I'm like this. If you're a basketball fan and you coming, if you going to a game Thursday night, this the game to go to. But get there early. Get there early because it's gonna be standing room only in that place. Because you know Judge is gonna bring their fans, Holy Cross gonna bring their fans. This is a rivalry in itself. And now this might be one of their biggest games in recent memory, meeting each other in the playoffs, meaning win or go home. Somebody's gonna get the ultimate victory, somebody gonna get the ultimate defeat. So you done been down that road before, Jared. I done been down that road before. And trust me, it's a bad feeling when you lose, but it's a big feeling when you win. And I don't know who's going to win this one. It's going to be close ball game. Does Holy Cross have a shot? Indeed.
Most definitely.
Indeed, because you have to think about this. Even when they went against each other in the last game of the year, what I told you, throw the records out the window when a rivalry goes against one another. It's going to be another classic. You know, we're going to see what happens in this one, bro. I know I said earlier, I got Jesuit to have a chance to go to the top 28. I ain't gonna lie, that could be wrecked. If Holy Cross win tomorrow, that could be wrecked. That's why I said that to Coach Kirkwood. I said you could wreck the bracket.
Boy, that's gonna wreck everything.
You could wreck the bracket if you win tomorrow.
They'll be the talk of the town.
24/9.
Yeah, that'll be the talk. I tell you, man. I mean, it's hard to beat a team twice. You know, us at Shaw, we beat Jesuit 3 times. The 4th time, we didn't beat them. And that was for state championship back in 2001.
Like I said, it's the hardest thing to do, beat a team multiple times in 1 year. Same thing happened with Carver, lose it. They beat McMahon 3 times, lose them the 4th.
Yeah.
You know, it happens. That tough game. And I mentioned about Bastrop and and Walsman on the girls' side. Just like I said, if they meet in the final, that just gonna be tough.
Let's talk about that one later.
We'll talk about it later, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's a weird scenario. The
Mhm.
hardest game is always in the rematch in the postseason.
Yes, indeed.
I remember my junior
Go
year
ahead,
saying,
hurry up.
"Oh, right quick." My junior year saying, "Oh, I never forget this. We beat Shaw in the regular season. We faced them in the second round of the playoffs. Ryan Clark's junior year, and we knocked them off.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was the greatest feeling ever because
See,
the
I told
smack,
y'all
the
fans,
smack,
Shaw
the
hater,
smack.
Shaw hater.
I'm
I
not
told
sure
y'all
hater.
fans that. See how you
Hey,
get to mention that?
all I know, the smack talk all week, and I didn't say a thing. I just told my guys before the game, and it was around my birthday. They said they're gonna send us home crying. They say what? And they handled business, and it was just a great night. But regardless of the fact, it's always hard to go against that same team in postseason.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the head coach of the John Curtis Patriots boys team, Coach Biko Paris, will be joining us right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Transition.
I'm Jordan Moore of the Hornville Tigers, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.
We are back on the Hash It Out Show. I'm joined by my co-host, VK Jones. George Peppers is joining us now. Our special guest, he has John Curtis going into the playoffs. They've won 4 out of their last 5 games. They're riding high right now. Head coach of the John Curtis Patriots, the one and only coach, Biko Paris. Coach Paris, thank you for joining us. And how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely, Coach. Definitely. Coach, a lot of people don't know about this, but you started your career playing at John Curtis and then had to go play in Houston due to Hurricane Katrina. Talk about that story for a second.
Katrina happened in 2005, going into my junior year. And my house got totally destroyed. So going back to my home wasn't an option. So it's very unfortunate because that was the whole reason for why I wanted to stay at Curtis, was to win a state championship there. So to not get that opportunity because due to things that I couldn't control, I was forced to relocate to Houston. So that's where I did my last 2 years of high school in Houston, Texas. I played at Cypress Christian and did my last 2 years of high school there.
You went on to play college ball at Boston College. What are some of your greatest moments of playing college ball at Boston College?
I think obviously I played with a lot of awesome. Guys with tremendous amounts of talent. Reggie Jackson, who just won an NBA Finals. I played alongside him. Tyrese Rice, Corey Raji, Rakim Sanders. A bunch of guys who played the game for a long time and made a ton of money doing it. So that's always fun to build those bonds and those chemistry with those guys. Probably just. I've always, loved going on the road. So maybe like going in Cameron and going in North Carolina and playing those guys on the road was always fun. So if I had to pick something I had to do with basketball, it would probably be going on the road. So sometimes going on the road is a little bit better than playing at home. So.
You played overseas for a little bit, then you went and coached at University of Massachusetts Lowell. But did you always see yourself being a basketball coach?
I did. It's funny. I've always. I think point guards always make for good head coaches.
I agree.
I think that just knowing the game, being a leader, and I think some of those qualities just are like natural. I've always been a guy that I've never was the follower. I was always a leader. I've always looked out for the whole team. I put the team before myself. I've always done those things. So Coaching was always at the top of my list of what I wanted to do. And I always knew I'd be good at it. The knowledge that I have for the game, for me, it's my way of kind of giving back. So I love it. I don't look at it as a job, because if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing something close to it. So if you're willing to do it for free, it's not really a job. So
What has the feeling been like of coming back home and coaching at John Curtis?
I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, like I said, I stayed here because I wanted to win a championship, and because of Katrina, I couldn't, and then to get this opportunity, in my hometown, a place where I was born and raised and grew up, and then to go to a school where, that helped me become the man that I am. I went there since third grade. I went to John Curtis since third grade and was going to finish through 12th, so I mean, to walk those halls every day and to walk past the same classroom, literally, and I kid you not, the exact same classrooms that like on Trail and Midnight, like they're sitting. And I even think it could be the same desk. Like they're sitting right where I was sitting, and it's funny that way. And they're getting taught by some of the same teachers that's teaching me. So it's like all of those things just bring back a lot of memories. And I know I wasn't able to kind of go out at Curtis as as a student athlete when I was here playing the way I wanted to. To be able to be here and kind of pour back into the kids that's and the student athletes that's coming up now there's no better feeling. So,
Like I said earlier, you guys have won your last 4 out of 5 basketball games. I was there at John Curtis when you guys defeated St. Augustine when Dagan Bruno hit the game-winning layup. Would you say that you think your team is starting to progress the way that you envisioned it?
I tell you what, man, I really didn't envision anything. They got to understand, like, this is my first time as a head coach. I I didn't know the competition. Like, I know names. I know St. Aug. I know Brother Martin. Like, I know names of school. Like, but I don't know the kids. I didn't know any of these things. Like, going into it, like my assistant, man, Coach Brian Hammond, who does an awesome job, and my other guys, Coach Pat and Coach Tank. I mean, Coach Brian, I would ask him all the time, like, man, like what happens with like, who is this kid? Who is this team? Like, I had no idea, what to expect. Like, I didn't know. I just knew that I was in a good situation. I had a lot of support from the Curtis Patriots, from all the Patriots, the family, all the kids, the families, the parents of the parents of the kids that I'm coaching. And I just knew I knew it was home. So I knew I would be able to do a good job, and I knew I had a lot of people had my back. So,
VK.
Coach Biko, man, we appreciate you joining us, man. I thank you so much. First of all, notice when I know this was a lot of transition with your team in year one and everything else. The win against St. Augustine, especially how now where's looking Dagan Bruno is like the guy now.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? Do you think that was a sign of, okay, this is about to happen? This is a good sign that things are about to be good going forward.
Yeah, man. I think anytime something like that happens, especially in a moment, in a pivotal part of our season in the middle of the district play. I mean, that was huge, man. I mean, I think that might have been win number 3 in a row or 4 in a row. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, that was huge. And we had been through a rough patch. And I mean, when I got this job, man, I told the boys we was playing this summer, and I was like, fellas, this is going to be the hardest it's going to ever be. And that was when I had first got this job, and they fought through some hard times. And I mean, hard times. And when the season got here, I told them, I said, fellas, it's going to come a point in the season where we're going to hit a roadblock. It's going to come. We're going to hit some adversity. VK, you got to understand, I'm playing with 8th, 9th, and 10th graders, and I got one 11th grader I'm playing and one 12th grader I'm playing. So I'm super young. You got to understand, these boys didn't lose a lot of games. When you talk about my 8th graders and my 9th graders, like they they didn't lose games. They've always won. They've always won. Last year they were in eighth. They were in eighth grade, seventh and eighth grade. They were the oldest, and they were the most talented. So you're going from being the oldest and most talented to now you're in ninth grade, right? So now you're the youngest playing on varsity. You're not playing freshman or JV. You're playing varsity. So now you're the youngest. You went from being the oldest to the youngest, and you went from being the most talented to now you just got a little talent. Like you got to compare it to who you're going up against now. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, right now. But I knew down the line it's going to be the best thing for us. And I told them we will hit a roadblock, and that comes on the court and it comes off the court. Things come up, but it's how you handle it. And that's been our biggest thing. That's been the biggest message that I've been preaching to my team. It's all about how you handle adversity. And even though we lost the 3-4 games in a row, if you look at the margin that will be lost by, it wasn't a lot of points. You're not losing by 15, 20 points. You're losing by 1 point to Brother Martin at a buzzer beater. You're losing to 2 points to Jesuit at the last second. So you're not far off, So yeah, man. I mean that's really the message. But yeah, when something like that happens, man, a kid like Dagan makes a play like that, it definitely helps us, man. I mean, even the next day in practice, it just keeps the energy alive and it keeps it going. And we needed it at the time. And when you're a senior like Dagan and you've been through what you've been through, I mean, you're talking about he's the starting quarterback on state championship teams at John Curtis. Like that speaks high. That's not something that's easily done. And he's a leader by nature. You can tell by his play. You can tell by the passion that he gives out there when he's out there on the floor. He's not a very vocal guy, but he leads by example. And I think the way he plays shows that.
Basically, I see what you're saying, especially with the kids. Basically, there's levels to this more than anything else.
And it's a process.
To this.
Yeah, it's a process, and we all. We all want the instant. We want it right now. We want the gratification. We want to be the star. We want it right now. We don't want to go through it. But the greats, like, you go through it. You go through it because then when you get there, and you're going to get there if you work your tail off, you'll get there. And when you get there, you're going to hold on to it that much tighter because you worked your tail off to get it. It wasn't given to you. You had to earn it. So when you earn something, you're going to hold on to it a lot tighter. If I gave you $100, you'll go blow it. But if you went mow that grass in New Orleans in the summer when it's 110 degrees outside, I guarantee you don't go blow it. I guarantee you when you work for it. So that's kind of what I preach to the guys, man. It's just, we're going to work. We're going to work and we're going to earn it.
Absolutely. You guys are going to be hitting the road. You're going to be taking on the defending state champions, Catholic of Baton Rouge. And I know they've been having a tough season themselves and everything. But at the same time, it seems like you guys are so battle tested. What is the approach going into that game coming up this week?
Man, I'll be honest with you. First, I want to say, congrats to Coach Derek Jones. I've known him a long time. Man, we were recruited in college together. He was at Vanderbilt. I was at UMass Lowell. We would sit and talk and recruit together and watch kids. And so we go back. We got a lot of history. But he does a phenomenal job. I mean, I've seen him early in the season, and I've seen him even play last year when they won it, when they won the whole thing. So I mean, just the experience that they have, being in it before, making a run at it, being on their home floor. They have a lot of good things going in their favor. I mean, he's a good team. They're well coached. They're prepared. They're disciplined. But I mean, for us, man, I think for me having such a young team, I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of it, I really just trying to focus on us. We're so young and we're still figuring out so much. I really try not to give our guys too much. Really just try to do a lot of self-scouting and self-evaluating and kind of watching ourselves. And just trying to get good at what we try to do, So the things that we've been working on all season and the things that's worked for us the last, 6 games in the second half of district, we're going to continue to build on those things and kind of just go off of that and let the chips fall where they may. But I kind of scheduled it, the little bit of the scheduling that I did do. I put us on the road. If I'm not, we didn't have a home game until we played Rummel. We never played at Curtis until we played our first district game. You know, we have a gym that's being that's being built right now. So we didn't even have a real home court really until they got that front gym prepared for us. So my fingers crossed that it worked out for us, that I put us on the road and it pays off and we can go up there and get a win. But we have been battle tested. I think the district does prepare you for that. I think it's a really, really tough district. Every night is a tough game. So I mean, I think our boys are prepared. I think they're fired up. I don't need to motivate them too much. It's the playoff time. So if you can't get up for this one, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, small world. I remember, and you could just tell how old I am. Derek Jones, I remember when he was a player, and he was actually he was the member of the Catholic Baton Rouge team that lost to St. Augustine in '95 for St. Augustine State Championship and National Championship. So I go way back with Derek Jones, and he's amazing of what he has done as a coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach, man. He's a great evaluator. He was a great recruiter when for the times when I saw him on the road. And his son, I've actually watched his son Nico kind of grow up from the YouTube and the Instagram videos that he would post when he would be running around Vanderbilt shooting the ball. And yeah, man, my family and him and his family, we go way back. So he was even out recruiting when I was playing high school, when I was getting recruited out of AAU. I might be messing up on the name because of the years, but I want to say maybe he was at Samford at the time as an assistant coach. I can't remember, but I remember seeing him on the sidelines when I was playing at the Disney Wide World of Sports. He was recruiting, so yeah, I've known Coach Derek for a long time. So then, like I said, I've watched his son Nico kind of grow up, in the midst of it all as well. So
yes, Nico is amazing. Let me ask you this one question, and George Peppers is going to take over the questions. You're like we talked to Coach Kirkwood earlier, and it's amazing that we have 4 African American head coaches in this league. What you can say, we're talking Black History Month here, is something else that we have 3 Black ADs and 4 African American head coaches in the Catholic League. What you can say about the movement more than anything else, and how unique that is, especially how all this history in the Catholic League.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge, and I think it speaks volumes to to what myself and these other guys that's been in here in this league before me and been doing it way before I have. So much respect to those guys, Coach T. Howard, Coach Kirkwood, and Coach G. and all those guys have been doing it for a long time, and it's guys like that's done it before me that allowed me to have to get an opportunity. If they didn't handle their situations the kind of way that they've handled it by doing a great job at those programs and kind of setting the foundation and showing that, like we can do it too. A lot of our kids are at these schools. If we're being honest, like if you look at our team, a lot of African Americans are on the team. So, and I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it's good for the kids as well. It gives them someone that they can go to and trust and use as a mentor and a big brother at times. I do more of that than coaching, and that's the part that I love about it. It's way bigger than the basketball. I promise you. And I tell our boys this all the time, man, and they know it. Like I don't get me wrong. I'm a competitor and I want to win and I hate losing, but it's way bigger than that. Like you guys can only play basketball for so long. My mom, I never forget. My mom knows little about basketball, but she never missed a game. Like recording my games, never missed a game. And back in the day, you used to get the letters in the mail when you were getting recruited. All these schools would send you the letters and the papers or whatever. And one that stuck, she put it on the refrigerator, and it was like the basketball doesn't bounce forever. Like you're gonna have to do something when you're done with this. So I preach that to the guys all the time. Bro, the same things I'm telling you guys. I'm holding you accountable, right? I'm making you communicate, right? You can be a good teammate, be a good person. These are the same things that's going to, the same qualities going to help you do good in the work field, So, and then for these kids to see us, right? Me, T. Howard, all of us. Like, look where we're at. If we can do it, you guys can do it. Plus more, like it's kind of setting the foundation for what's to come, So that's like one of the big reasons why I took this job, to help give back and to help these guys and to give back as much information and knowledge that I have that I possibly can. So I think for what's going on, I think is awesome.
George Peppers.
Coach Paris, first off, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to joining us, and congratulations on the season that you guys have accumulated to this point. For anytime, first question: looking at how this season has gone, it seems like a season of any season really of ebbs and flows, where you guys were good, then you hit a lull, then you got good again. Where do you feel like this team's ceiling? Being that this team is so young, do you feel like this team just maybe has this moniker like, we don't know how good we can be, or we just go out there and get it?
I'll be honest with you right now. I think we're still figuring out our ceiling. I think the potential for us is through the roof. I mean, you got to look at the kids, like their bodies. If you just look at their bodies, they're not nowhere near what they're going to look like 2-3 years from now. Like you talk about Midnight and Artrell being seniors, and Marlon Johnson and Xavier Shepard and Joel Tabbs being juniors, like with multiple off seasons in the weight room and on the football field running and doing hills and on the gun shooting machine, and like I think that's going to tell it all. I think we had this conversation a year and a half from now or 2 years from now, when those guys are juniors, seniors, and sophomores. I think I'll know then if we where our ceiling would be. But right now, I mean, it's through the roof. You look at, I got 2 8th graders that's out there at the end of games. Sometimes they're closing games for me, and their best basketball is for sure ahead of them, So I don't want to say we go in it just hoping for the best. I think that's why I preach effort, like defense and effort, because that can always be there. The effort and the attention to detail and paying attention to the scouting report, playing boxing out, loose balls, the 50-50 balls, like those things. Like, trust me, I know a rebound we can't get. The guy's 6'7", my boy is 5'6", 5'8". I get it. The ball bounce high. You can box it all you want. That a little out of your control. But the things that we can control, stepping over and taking a charge, we can control those things, no matter how big or small you are. Those are the things that I coach, and those are the things that I correct, and that we go back and watch the film, and I care about. The missing shots and the turnovers. Like, my boys see plays, they can pass. It's just they're so weak sometimes. The ball, it should. Everybody takes a half a second slower, so it gets deflected, but they see it. So, I want those guys to play freely and loosely on offense. I don't want them second guessing. But on defense, that's where I hold them the most accountable, is on defense. So, that's kind of how we approach every game.
Okay. My next question is a subjective question. I pretty much think I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to go ahead and fire off anyway. The Catholic League has put everybody into these Division I playoffs. All the teams in the district have made the playoffs. Do you feel like you're coaching in the best league in the state?
I'll be completely honest, and this is God honest truth, and I'm probably going to get in trouble.
You won't.
No, not for real, but but
I got you.
I'm so bad with, I don't even know the other districts, like who is in
okay. I got you.
category. That's what I'm saying. If you ask my
I
sister,
got you.
like, dude, how many teams make the playoffs? Well, what bracket? Well, what division are we? What class are we? Are we selecting? I'm just wrapped my head around it all. So I would say it would have to be towards the top in the state. I mean, yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't know. I think about the Zacharys, the Punchatulas, the Newmans, the I don't even know where they go. I don't know how it all goes, but I've seen a lot of the teams now, and I would say from going through the district, I think all of our teams should probably be in the playoffs. So I mean, if I mean, it would be hard for me to. I'll be shocked. Is there any other league in the state that every team out of the district made their playoff?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't really studied. I've scurried the bracket, but haven't studied it. Like personally, I've looked at it. But I know the Catholic League, and I know what you guys have, and it's a night in, night out
It's
war.
hard.
It is. There's no nights off. That is a fact. I mean, and what do you feel like that this team is
George,
more?
stop you right quick. Everybody from the Cali League made it, and everybody from District 458 made it. Liberty, Zachary, Cali,
The Baton Rouge district.
Central, Scotlandville, and Woodlawn.
Gotcha.
We said on the show that the Cali League and that Baton Rouge district were the top two.
That's a good league too.
Yeah,
it is.
And I didn't know all of those guys. I didn't even see. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was that pocket. I didn't even know that. That's a good lineup right there. That's a good lineup.
And your projectile, if you win against Baton Rouge Catholic, you go to Liberty in round 2. So Liberty out of that 4-5 district. So there you go. You get it. Maybe you get a chance at it. Well, you got a chance at it this week with Baton Rouge Catholic. Yeah. To me, I think for me, the answer of the Catholic, I think the Catholic League, knowing what we've seen down here, the depth of the talent of the teams, when you look at the playoff bracket, you're like, you know what? And I don't want to say not you, but teams like you on your optimum best can make a very nice run. St. Augustine can make a nice run. You look. What do you know about this Baton Rouge Catholic team? I know Derek Jones is a heck of a coach, but what do you know? And also, what is going to be a key for this John Curtis team to go into Baton Rouge Catholic and get a W this week?
I think for us, what I know about them, I mean, I've seen them play over this summer. We played them in one of the team camps, and I know Coach Derek. I know him, and I know their boys will be disciplined. They're going to be tough. They're going to be smart. I know Nico is very, very talented. I've seen him play in AAU. I've seen him in high school now. I know that they're going to have their I's dotted and their T's crossed. I know he's going to have their boys ready to go. For us, I think it's big that we throw the first punch. And we can't get down 10-0 or 12-2 and fighting back to get in the game the whole time. We got to get. Our biggest thing is let's make sure that we're in position to win the game at the end. Let's make, whether we have the ball and can win it, or we got to get a stop and we can win it. Let's make sure we have ourselves in position to put ourselves in position to have a chance to win the game. So that's really our focus, and just to play our game and do the things that we've been working on the last 6 games that's gotten us back towards the middle pack of the district.
What would it mean to you personally to go into BRC, a tough place, a tough environment, and with such a young team that probably doesn't really know itself yet? Really, let's be honest. You have 2 8th graders out there making key contributions. What would it mean to you personally to go into Baton Rouge Catholic and win that game this week and setting up that second round date with Liberty?
Yeah, I mean, I think more for the boys than me. It would be great for those guys. Like I know how hard they've worked this summer. In this fall, I know the time and the effort that they put in. So they deserve it. I mean, it'll be for them, but it'll be big. It'll be huge for our program, especially moving forward. We're having such a young group to have some momentum, kind of building to going into my second year. It'll be huge for us. But anytime you can go into a place like that have the history that they have, for us we're going on the road to go and play the defending state champs. Like that's huge. Anybody that can go in and say that's awesome. So just that in itself is enough motivation for the boys.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, when you win, if you can win a game like that, it really sets you up for 25 too. When you consider those young kids are going to be a year older and a year wiser and a year more astute in basketball. When you look at when you tap into what their resource is. Yeah. Last question, and I'm going to have a little fun with this one. because I just, I feel like I'm going to have a little fun with this one. And look, John Curtis, what we know is a very tight knit community athletically. I mean, the support is impeccable. Let's flash back a little bit. The football team got burned at Baton Rouge Catholic in the state playoffs. Has there been any talk this week of, hey, look, Coach Curtis, we got you. We're going to get some cats back this week. We'll knock their boys out because y'all got burned in BRC during the football playoffs. Has there been any kind of kickback about that this week?
No. It hasn't.
Just having fun.
Yeah, no. It hasn't been brought up. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I'm the biggest culprit of it. I mean, I'm probably the worst one. We put a lot on those referees and umpire. It's hard. It's hard to do what they do, to watch the game at that speed and to try to make those calls and be right. It's hard, and with no reviews, like it's not you can't go and review it. It's hard, and mistakes happen. It's unfortunate that for those seniors, and that's who I feel the worst for. It's the seniors that would never get a chance, because a lot of those kids are going to college to play football, and they would never get a chance to, play another game, So, but that's just a part of sports. It's not going to always go your way. It sucks, but again, my brother, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. He said you got to go one way or the other, and it's just unfortunate that sometimes it happens that way. But no, I wouldn't dare bring that up. I ain't bringing that up around there at school for sure. So no, we have no one saying that.
Gotcha.
Oh man, Coach Biko Paris, we want to thank you for joining us tonight on this show. And Friday night, good luck to you as you travel to Baton Rouge Catholic.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Definitely.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, guys. During this time, we would say something about the matchup and everything, but we're going to move right along with our show because we have our next guest. She's in the lobby. She is the head coach of the UNO Lady Privateers basketball team, Coach Trelanne Powell. Coach Powell, how you doing? And thank you for joining us.
I'm good. Thank you.
Most definitely. Coach, while you were a basketball player in college, did you ever see yourself becoming a coach?
I absolutely did not. No. I thought I had life all figured out until I graduated. And then I was kind of thrown a curveball because I thought I was going to a PT school to be a physical therapist. And right when I was getting ready to graduate, they changed the curriculum to get into PT school. Now you needed 2 extra courses, which was, I think, microbiology and statistics. And I had not taken neither one of those. So I was going to have to go back to school for a year because you got to take part 1, part 2 of each of those. And I ended up coming home and just working in the school system in Macon. And I did that for 1 year, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not it. This is not. So I tried to figure out what else I could do with my life. And I was like, well, let me just go back to school and get my master's degree. Because I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. So that's what I did. I went back to my alma mater, which is Columbus State University, and got my master's degree. Right before school started, I stopped by to see my old coach. And he was like, why you didn't tell me you were here? You were coming. And he was like, I'm looking for a grad assistant. He was like, we'll pay for your school, whatever. I was like, sign me up. And it probably was like maybe not even 2 months in. It was just like, it just clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's crazy how, God works and like how your path just falls in line. And that's just how it happened.
I tell people all the time, it's crazy how when you actually find your hidden passion for things that you don't know you have a passion for. What was the feeling like when UNO hired you to be their next coach?
Oh man, amazing. Dream come true. As a coach, and I know it's not for all coaches, but you have your goals and aspirations that you want to reach. And sometimes, it's kind of a tough road to get there. But yeah, it was amazing. Like I said, a dream come true. I definitely, once I started coaching, I never saw myself as a Division I head coach. And so I think everything kind of went in that order. Like, I started as a junior college assistant after I was a GA. And then from there, I became a head coach at the JUCO. And then at that point, I was like, okay, I want to try to make a plan to advance my career. So my third year as a head coach at Chattahoochee Valley, I told myself, I was like, God, I was like, this is my last year. This is my last year. No matter how many jobs, wherever I got to apply, this is gonna be it for me. Because those JUCO jobs are a grind. A lot of them aren't full time. It was a part time job, but you work in full time hours. And so I was working a full time job at the hospital on top of that. So I was burning both ends of the candle for 3 years. And so I was just like, this has to be it. I got to find a full time coaching job. Just so happened that my former coach that I played for got back into coaching and then hired me as his assistant. He called me. He was like, "You want to be my assistant?" I was like, "Yes," because got to get out of here. But it just seemed I couldn't see myself making it to that level that fast, and then to go to being a Division II assistant. And then the next year after that, just because of how everything happened with him retiring again, I became a Division I assistant. And again, when that happened, I was like, this ain't nobody but God. And so I just stayed the course.
How would you describe all of your previous coaching, the previous places you've coached at? How would you describe how that has gotten you ready to coach at UNO at a Division I level?
Man, I have worked for some really great coaches. Like I said, my former coach that I played for and got to work under as a grad assistant and then as an assistant coach. And then after he left, Francis Marion, one of my mentors, was then hired, Jerry Porter at Francis Marion. And man, she was also a mom who coached. And so I never saw that because I played for all male coaches. And so to get to witness that up close and personal, it was amazing for me. I was like, oh, this is obtainable. She just instantly became one of my mentors. When I got the call from Susie Gardner at Mercer, she was like, you got to take that job. And so she kind of pushed me to get out of my comfort zone as well. But having her as a mentor, working for Susie Gardner, somebody who is, she is an amazing coach. I learned a lot from her. And then in order, to be able to take those things, all of the coaches that I played for, and then get to kind of bring all of that together in my own program when I got the job at Tuskegee, it really meant a lot to me. And all of the coaches that I played for and worked for have so much to do with all of the success that I've had.
Let's talk about your team for a second before I pass it on to VK Jones. Started off with a struggle, but your last 16 games, you guys have won 9 or 10. Are you starting to see the progress that you've expected to go this late in the season?
Actually, we are. We've been at this since June. And so we have been teaching and preaching. And I know the kids get like tired because it's very redundant, but it's necessary. And we knew coming in the pieces that we had that we could have some success. And so we just kind of try to hone in on things that could, I don't want to say give us instant success, but could help us kind of reach for some of that instant success, which was, kind of sharpening our defense. And so, again, I know the girls probably get tired of it, but that's what we kind of harp on day in and day out in practice and film sessions. Like, we're continuing to show them over and over again all of the things that we got to clean up in order for us to continue inching up. And, it kind of sucks because I felt like we were just starting to peak and then we lost 2 of our starters. So we're still playing right now at a pretty relatively high level. as high as this team can play right now, and we're still missing two of our starters. So I hope that kind of keeps the girls encouraged. I know, they want to do their best for the seniors that are on the team this year, because they kind of want to help them get over that hump. And I think we've done that. Everybody on this team that was already here when we got here had not won more than 8 games. So we were super happy when we got to that number 9, number 10 win.
Coach Powell, I appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you taking the time out and everything.
You're welcome.
I tell you one thing, I owe you and I owe Mr. Peppers, Manny Peppers. I tell you, I completely understand you. I observed you have a family, so I already know families first. I have a 5-year-old daughter, so
Yep.
I know what's going on. But at the same time, I'm glad you're here. But I got to ask you this first question: how proud of your team? How proud are you that your team is? That your team has been so resilient, regardless of the injuries, and especially the emergence of players like Alexis Calderon, Hadidi Pryor has been really stepping up as a senior, and the emergence of Nora Francois. Can you tell us how what's your feelings on how proud your team is and how these young players have gotten better?
I'm extremely proud. I mean, man, to have Alexis come in, somebody as a newcomer who, kind of was not in this core group, and to come in and kind of help lead the way has been major for us. And we're happy that she's taken on that role. Nora is somebody who is trying to get back to herself 100%. When we got here over the summer, Nora had surgery. She had knee surgery. So Nora missed like almost all of preseason, and for her to jump right in, I remember first couple of games, like that first 2-week span, it was like, all right, like asking the doctor every day, is Nora clear? Is she ready to come back? And then once she came back, it was like, okay, she can play 4 minutes. Now she can play 6 minutes. Now she can play 10 minutes. So, we had to slowly work her back in, and just to see like, these girls want to win. They want to win. They want to be successful, and they are working hard daily to see that. So I'm extremely proud of them. I'm extremely, extremely proud of their fight, how we have managed to stay together through all of the adversity. We've had a lot of ups and downs this season, and I'm just happy and proud of them that they have overcome, like, again, at each obstacle. And again, I told them right now we want to put ourselves in position to play well once we get into the tournament, because right now it matters, but we're in the tournament now. So we can start winning at a high level at any time. And so that's what I just try to get them to understand. We were in a really, really close game with Lamar, who was number 1 in our conference. And I'm like, y'all, we lost to them again, the same exact way that we lost to them at Lamar. And again, it's like, I'm going to keep teaching. I'm going to keep showing y'all the things that we're doing wrong, the things that we got to get better at if we want to beat those top teams. So I'm extremely proud, because they have not quit no matter what. We talk about having a short-term memory. Like, we got to learn from that. Yes. But we also got to let the shoulda, coulda, wouldas go from those games and move forward. So, again, I'm extremely proud of this group.
I think it's the fact that y'all going to be really, really dangerous going into the tournament. Y'all going to be right near the middle of the pack, close to maybe getting a 4 seed, which is really good. And maybe you might face Lamar again. Might be third time, might be the charm this time.
Yes. That would be something if we could knock off the number 1 team.
Because you have to think, because UNO, you have to think, you guys in every conference game, you only lost by at least by 1 to like 5 points.
The Northwestern game, that first game that we played, and we had to go to their place and get our lick back. So
right. And that's the only lopsided loss in the conference was Northwestern.
Yep.
And that was just a day that just things didn't go too right.
I'm telling you, we
And
missed like 15 layups that day. It was so crazy. But yeah, like again, these are the things that like we keep telling the girls. Like we're showing the stat sheets, and it's not like completely lopsided. It's like 2 more free throws or 2 more layups, or us not fouling them 2 more times. So, and then our turnover. So yeah, we are continuing, like I said, to say the same things. Like we're gonna keep saying it because we gotta learn from it.
what are your thoughts on Dee Dee Pryor getting her 1,000 point 2 times first in her career and also at UNO?
Man, she's a baller. Like you gotta love kids that can score the ball and defend it. And so, that was one of the really, really bright spots coming in and taking this job, knowing that you had somebody like Dee Dee Pryor already here. So, she started the season off slow, had a few issues with injuries, but she's feeling really good right now. She's playing at a high level, and we couldn't ask of anything more of Dee Dee.
And you look at your coaching staff more than anything else. I know the Nichols game really stands out more than anything else, how exciting that game was, but how hard your staff worked. And also, it was a night that they did a tribute to one of your staff members, Lanika
Mhm.
Thompson, who
Yes.
overcame breast cancer and been cancer free and everything else. Tell us about, that night, especially how y'all came together, got the win, the tribute to Lanika, but also tell us how you got your staff together, because this is a very well organized coaching staff.
Yeah, so Brittany White, my associate head coach, was with me for 4 years at Tuskegee. So, at that level, the D2 level, I had one assistant. And so she was my one right hand man. Brittany was working the job of, three coaches. So she's like a well-oiled machine. And I could not have imagined taking a job at this level and not at least asking her to come with me, because our last year, my last year at Tuskegee, she actually went to Florida International. She was offered a position there, which she so deserved, and I was so happy for her. Because you want those young coaches that are working hard to be rewarded. And so she did. And again, when I got this job, I called her and I was like, I don't know what you got. How you like? I mean, she was in Miami. But yeah, I mean, we had a good enough relationship that she believed in my vision for this program, and she was like, I got you. And then Coach Kate, she is a former player and grad assistant of one of my friends, who was formerly the head coach at Texas A&M Commerce, who's now at North Texas, Jason Burton. And so over the summer, when this was starting to happen, he gave me a few names and was like, you need to look into a few of these. And so Coach Kate and I got a chance to sit down and talk over the summer at the Final Four. And so that's how that happened. And then Lanika, actually, Coach White knew her. They had done some stuff together in WBCA, assistant coaches. And so she told me about her, and she was like, she's actually from New Orleans. So that was ultimately what sparked my interest in her. And so she and I got an opportunity to meet and sit down and talk. And then I reached out to her head coach. So that's kind of how that happened. Just all connecting pieces, and, just people that I trust. And it's worked out really good.
I don't know if you know about this. Me and LT go way, way back. My brother-in-law coached her in AAU and
Okay.
everything else, and we remember her very, very well. And like I had to ask them, I said, "Is the interview online?" So like I said, this is my brother-in-law because he asks a lot. He asks a lot about her and knows about her mother and the father and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm very proud of what she's doing, and it's amazing. I was shocked myself when she went to the University of Florida. I'm like, what? She over there playing. So I'm like, it trips me
Falling out.
out. Yeah, and it's amazing because she's a tough girl, and
Mhm.
she's now a tough overall woman. What she's doing, I'm proud of what she's
Mhm.
doing right now. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you,
Oh, no,
yes,
sorry.
no, you good, you good. I'm
No,
gonna
I
ask
was
you
just
one
gonna
last.
say her family has been amazing. Like they always show up and support us. We can look up and we'll always see her family up there. But yeah, the girls again have gotten a chance to meet most of all of her family, and they just rallied behind Coach LT with her overcoming that fight with breast cancer, and Dee Dee Pryor's mother also. So they connected there with Coach LT.
Wow, amazing. Actually, this last question, and George Peppers will take over questions. First of all, how it has been a transition here in New Orleans, but not just that. This is Black History Month,
Mhm.
and pretty much, last Keyshawn Davenport
Mhm.
was the head coach at UNO, a rarity, African American taking over a Division One program, but you have transitioned and taken over, and y'all have talked a couple times and
Mhm.
interacted and stuff like that. And it seems like she's been a little bit of a vessel. Can you tell us a little bit, and what are your thoughts on how Coach Keyshawn has instilled some things in you to prepare you to do what you have to do and getting some early success at the University of New Orleans?
Yeah, Coach Keyshawn and I met actually during COVID when everything first shut down. A lot of coaches were doing those Zoom calls and coaching clinics and meetings online. And so Coach Keyshawn and I met then, but we had actually, seen each other out prior to on the recruiting trail and spoke, and, how you sit down next to coaches and you just start talking. So we had met prior, and then coming down here, she's been a tremendous help. I'm looking forward to sitting down with her and getting with her, and her helping us get some other alum on board to kind of come in and continue helping with the program. But yeah, she's been amazing. I got here, and she's one of those people where she wants you to form your own opinion. She's not gonna say, oh, this kid, this and that kid. She was just like, I'm praying for you, coach. I'm supporting you. My family is supporting, whatever you need, I'm here. Just, I'm a phone call away. And that's really warming to have. You don't get that everywhere. Everybody does not get that opportunity coming in. And again, she's just like, whatever you need, coach, I support you. I got you. Just let me know. But she definitely always comes in and speaks and says hi. And she will let you know every single time, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you, coach. And she understands the struggles. Like you said earlier, tough preseason, beginning the conference, and we have those tough schedules where we have to go out and play some of those tougher opponents. And that was one thing she said to me when I did get hired. She was like, coach, she said, I didn't schedule games for you. She said, I knew, when I was leaving, and I wanted you to be able to kind of, plan and schedule your own schedule. Cause I understand, that preseason schedule can be really rough. And I told her, I appreciate that. But yeah, she's been nothing but supportive. And again, like you said, to come in and, work behind another Black female that was in this position, man, is just amazing, because you don't see that every day. A lot of times when Black female coaches leave, the next person that comes in, the successor, a lot of times is not that same. They're like, hey, we checked the box for a few years. We gave them a chance. Now it's on to something new. So, that's another reason why I was excited to come to UNO just to work, for Tim Duncan. a Black athletic director. So, it matters who you work for. So, knew him for a long time. Also kind of like as a mentor. Um, you know, I've known Tim ever since he was at Clayton State when I was trying to get out of my junior college coming from Columbus State because they were in the same conference. And so, yeah, I just kind of followed his path and saw the success that he was having. And we got a chance to meet. And I mean, so many people had such great things to say about him. And Keyshawn, still, being that she worked for him, the same, had nothing but great things to say about him. So, yeah, man, it's just been a dream come true to be able to have this this platform, this Division I level job where there aren't many Black head coaches, and I'm just lucky for all of the trailblazing coaches, the Vivian C. Stringers and the Carolyn Pecks that came before me. I mean, I remember doing a role model research paper on Carolyn Peck when I was in high school, and it was like, man, and I'm like, kind of, I'm walking in her footsteps. So it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
George Peppers.
Coach Powell, first of all, thank you for taking the time for joining us. And before we start, you can now honestly say you now know two Peppers brothers because
I
my
know,
brother
right?
is Emmanuel Peppers. So it is a pleasure to meet you. And a pleasure to talk to you. When I found out we were talking, my brother actually told me we were having you on the show tonight. The job I have, I work crazy hours, so I didn't get a chance to go in advance. So I had to quickly do some, research. But now it is
Okay.
a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet
Um,
you too.
Thank you. My first question, I want to talk about your team. First off, it's again a season of ebbs and flows. You've won more than you've lost here down the stretch, 9-7. But I want to point to those two Lamar games. On the road, you had chances to win there. You lost, I think, by 5. Then you lost at home recently by 3.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about this UNO team? Minus 2 very key pieces to still able to have a chance to win on the road against that team and then lose at home. What does that say about this team going forward to, losing that close?
Again, it just speaks to their determination, their uh desire again to
Mm-hmm.
win. Like, these kids want to win. Um, we have to again just clean up some of our mistakes. And I
Mm-hmm.
told them from the beginning, the entire game, I said we were shooting ourselves in the foot. It's not that other people are just beating us. We're giving the games away because of the mistakes that we made. And again, we have to be able to learn from those, or we're going to continue to be up at the end of games and then let that lead slowly slip away. So yeah, we are again trying to show film. We are trying to break down things in practice, but again, that determination, their willingness to be locked in and be focused and try to learn the stuff that we're teaching, the stuff that we're preaching every day. It just speaks volumes about them.
I'm going to be objective in saying this and piggybacking off what VK said to you earlier. I feel I'm sharing the same opinion of this team that you can compete against a team like that at that level. They've been the number 1 team in this conference, and for you guys to have a shot at them 2 times, maybe you get them in a neutral court setting. Maybe things are different. This UNO team's got a chance to be really, really good down the stretch. I think they show you signs. Where is the ceiling for this UNO team as it's presently constructed? I know you're down 2 very big pieces, but where is the ceiling for this team in your opinion?
Honestly, I don't think we have one. Like I said, even though we're short those 2 pieces, any given night, Didi can give you 30. Any given night, like Jayla can step up, Alexis can step up. I mean, Nora can step up. So it just, we all gonna have to find that common ground where everybody can chip in. We told our kids, when the games that we're winning, we're sharing the ball. Like, our number of assists are high. The games that we're losing, we have 5, 6 assists. So I'm like, y'all, we are giving all of this information to the girls. We're constantly telling them these are the things that we need to do in order for us to win. And so I don't think we have one, because like I said, any given night we can have, we've had 5 people in double figures, in the win. And so again, like, it just depends on the night. I'm like, sometimes when we have games like that, I'm like, what did y'all eat? What time did y'all go to sleep? What time did y'all wake up? Like, what did you do? Because we need to do it again.
And then there is nights like the Northwestern game here where nothing went right. So I mean, they're the ebbs and flows. I personally think this team's got a shot to be, and I know coaches hate to say this, being projectiles and stuff. You potentially have a shot to get to this NCAA tournament if y'all just put everything together. And that's just me being objective. And look, I know my brother's in the integral part of what you guys do. He works so hard, so I'm trying to be objective and not biased, and all that. I mean, it would mean a lot for you guys to get. What would it mean personally? I mean, just leading into my next question, what would it mean personally in your first year at New Orleans to put this team into the NCAA tournament?
It would be surreal. It would be surreal because coming in this summer, first seeing the group of kids, we were like, oh my gosh, we have so much work to do. We got, and I feel like from the beginning, we felt like we were short post players because, again, Nora had knee surgery, so she was not yet back. I mean, over the summer, I can't tell you how many practices we had with 7, 8 people. We couldn't even do 5-on-5 stuff until August got here, and then we got practice players. So again, we were so up and down coming, like we did not know what to expect. But the very first game of the season, when we played Oklahoma State, and those kids gave everything that they had, and we had a chance to almost beat Oklahoma State, that's when it clicked for me. And I was like, we can do anything. We can do anything. But I told him, I'm like, it's up to y'all. Y'all are the ones out here doing the work. We're only here to teach, to guide, to help manage. I said, but y'all are the ones that got to do the work. And so when you decide that everybody wants to come out and everybody want to be on the same page, I'm like, do y'all not see how dangerous we can be? And they say it, they're like, yeah, like and it's like, okay, so we have to have way more nights where everybody is on the same page together when we get those really, really great wins, versus when nothing goes our way, we start having bad body language, we get in our feelings, we get down on ourselves, and it's just like a snowball effect. And we can't allow that to happen. So we are desperately trying to keep them on the high side of, not worrying about the mistakes, play through the mistakes, and kind of help build their confidence. Because right now we're playing like a rotation of 6, maybe, maybe 7. So again, it's like you got to have short-term memory.
I know you're. I'm sorry, Coach.
No, you're fine.
Okay. No, I said, I know you're a very busy woman coaching this team, but how much of a chance have you had to embrace the lifestyle of New Orleans, the food, mostly the food, because that's what we're known for down here. How much of the lifestyle have you had a chance to, and have you found a particular favorite, perhaps?
So early on over the summer, yes, I was able to, just because we had more time. And then once school started, we started having official visits. Oh my gosh. Like we were eating, because like people were coming in and telling us where they wanted to go. Oh, I heard about this place. Like, can we go to this? So we will have our itinerary planned out for these different restaurants. But we kind of have a few that we kind of always go to. I would say one of my favorites is New Orleans Food and Spirits.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm with you. I'm second that emotion.
Yeah, and so a lot of our recruits coming there like, man, yeah, that one was good. That and Mambo's on Bourbon Street. Yeah, so I had a chance to.
Well, that's a good, and that's actually a good recruiting tool. if
Yeah.
you're trying to attract players. I mean, you bring them
Absolutely.
that, it actually could work.
Mhm.
I mean, bringing them some cultural places like that. But uh, you mentioned about it would be surreal to get to the NCAA tournament. I'm playing it in my head. More than likely, be a play-in. If you won that, you may coach against Dawn Staley, South
Right,
Carolina.
right.
They're the number one team in the country right now. Just playing this out in my head, like if you beat a fellow 16 in the play-in, and then that would be surreal to go to that building and do that. But that's a long way away. I
Absolutely.
know it because there's still 4 games left in the conference tournament.
Mhm.
So, what are you looking to? My last question: what are you looking to in these last few games before you head into the conference tournament? What are you looking for? And give me kind of a telltale sign of where this UNO team can be in these last 4 games. What are you going to be looking for as you head to the conference tournament?
Well, the first thing that we want to see is the small improvements,
Mhm.
that we need to make in order to get better each game. So this week, the girls have had individuals and they have watched film. We will watch film again tomorrow, just getting ready for our next opponent. But we just kind of been working on us. And again, just pointing out those things, pointing out the time of the game in which we could have made some better decisions, different decisions, stuff like that. So yeah, we just want to see those small improvements that are going to help us each game.
Coach Powell, I want to thank you for joining us. We want to wish you good luck throughout the rest of the season and then go into the conference tournament. But thank you for joining us. We truly, truly. Oh, VK got his finger up. Go ahead, VK. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry. I just
No,
had
he ain't. No,
I
he
just
ain't.
or whatever. I know you.
No, he ain't sorry. Not at
I,
all.
No,
I,
he ain't.
It's
I'm
all the
not.
time. Go ahead, VK.
Coach, I always appreciate everything, the hospitality and everything else. Every time I go in there and do the game for UNO, you're doing a great job and everything. And I apologize for Mr. Pepper for giving that kind of scenario. The sweet scenario I rather see than anything else.
Ain't better than
Y'all,
women.
no, I want y'all. Hopefully, if y'all can win the tournament and make the NCAA's, y'all will face Jackson State. That would be a great scenario in itself. You have to think about it. The head coach of Jackson State was a former privateer.
Yeah.
So that would be something else. I think that'll be a sweeter
Coach
type
Tamika
scenario.
Reed is my sorority sister. I know Tamika Reed. She
Wow.
also came through Columbus State too. So yes,
Ooh,
yeah.
talk about
Wow.
bragging rights. If
Oh,
that happens, VK.
man. I would want that to happen for you, but I wish you the best and enjoy New Orleans. I wish you the best tomorrow against McNeese. Y'all got y'all final home game tomorrow.
So no, we have Southeastern on Saturday. McNeese is after is our last home game.
Oh, that's the following week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's the last because the following week we have Corpus Christi. Isn't McNeese in Corpus? But yeah, this
Right.
weekend we have Southeastern.
At UNO?
At Southeastern.
That's
We
how
played
Southeastern.
them. The first conference game was at UNO versus Southeastern. So
and it was a close game too.
it was.
Good
It
game.
was.
And
So
wow.
hopefully we can keep
Might
the
take that
trend of
ride.
playing good on the road.
Might have to take that ride. See that one, VK.
Might have to do that. Might have to do
Coach
that.
Powell's team against Coach Gazzardo's team.
I think
Yes,
I might not have nothing to
good
do
team.
Saturday, Jared. We might have to take that.
Might have to
Might
do
have to
that.
take the trip.
I'm with it.
Yeah. I hope that it's gonna be a dogfight. Southeastern is a really good team.
Well, before I was interrupted, Coach Powell, thank you for joining us and good luck to you throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you, Coach. Coach Trelanne Powell of the UNO women's basketball team.
Mhm.
Hey George, we're gonna chop that dude finger off.
Hey,
I know.
I have not done that in a
Amputation, my
while.
boy.
I have
Shut up.
not done that in a while.
You ain't been on the show in a while either.
No,
Exactly.
you're right. You're
But
right.
look,
But
let me wait.
Wait.
Let me interrupt, and I'm going to do it the right way. The first Southeastern game we should all remember. Remember that was the same week we were at the Sugar Bowl tournament. We ran into Coach Ayla, and remember what she told me. Remember when you introduced me to her, and Coach Ayla said, And I told her who I was and everything else. And remember what she said. I'm sorry for what I may have to do tomorrow, because that was the Friday night of the
Yes,
Sugar Bowl tournament. If you remember that.
I remember
Now,
now.
what happened? What happened the next day? UNO scored in the fourth quarter in that game against Southeastern 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
They had that game won. They did everything right in the first 3 quarters, but they could not close. This team, look, VK said it earlier, and I'm with him. He's seen them more than I have. This team's got a big ceiling in front of them. They got a chance to really, really finish up good. And when you play a team like a Lamar, who is the quote #1 team in the conference, and I'm not going to argue numbers because they've been that team, but this UNO team minus 2 starters, Jared, still doing that, still playing that way. All it tells me, and I don't want to hear the what ifs and everything. I hate the what if game. That stuff, it is such a nuisance. But this UNO team's got a chance to really be something down the stretch and get into it. And you put this team into a conference tournament setting where they're like, why not us? That's the thing. I feel like, why not us? I think that's the mentality that they need to have. But I love the progress that this team has made. And look, Keyshawn did what she could, and she left under some very, very tough circumstances. But Trelanne Powell has done a tremendous job in her first year here. She has done a tremendous job, and the future at UNO for her is looking bright. It really is. I think as she ingratiates her mindset into this program, I feel like that a lot of better things are going to happen for UNO. There are good things that have happened, but they haven't had that signature good thing yet. And it may, and you know what, the ultimate signature would obviously winning the Southland Conference tournament and seeing those girls just unbridled joy. I forget who's hosting it this year. I don't remember which.
It's at McNeese.
Oh, it's in Lake. Oh, it's in the state of. Well, we might have to make a
Lake
trip.
Charles.
Man, oh boy.
And it
Huh?
actually starts the Sunday after the top 28. It
Okay.
starts that Sunday, March the 10th.
Wow.
Now, if let's say we all took that ride out there, would VK run out in the middle of the court if they won the tournament? That'd be the question.
Well, my only thing
Running
is,
ball.
Yeah.
my only thing when you look at it is this.
Mhm.
My situation is this: if I'm covering top 28 that week, my only problem is I would have to swing back if you're gonna catch the Southland maybe Monday or Tuesday if that happens, because I have to come back to the city Sunday because Nunez is actually playing a neutral site game in City Park. So I would have to swing back for that game and just to come back to watch the South. You know what I'm saying? But then it depends on my mom. I don't want to start tripping because, you've been gone for all these multiple days.
But you don't raise the finger to her, the interruption finger to her, huh?
Of course not.
I thought so. Good boy.
Cut that
Sometimes
thing
I
off.
do. Sometimes
Yeah.
I do, but not a lot.
Right.
Not a lot.
Yeah, look.
But I had to put the interruption finger for one reason on it. I had to.
Suspension time,
Because
VK.
no, this was the right reason. How you gonna put a situation? Oh, if y'all get to the tournament, maybe you go against South Carolina. What the
A
hell?
Hall of Famer, Don Stanley. Hello.
No, that's a nightmare
Stop it.
scenario. You'll get them in a successful
You tripping.
scenario. Successful scenario. That's why I said Jackson State. I would never. No, I get the
I think both
experience.
y'all scenarios were fine. He
I
said
get-
if they win the play-in, they might have to go there. That's what he
Where-
said.
where-
I don't
where-
think.
That's all I said.
I don't think there's
I
nothing
know.
wrong with that.
Hayden.
I'm like this. I want them to. Look. No disrespect. He goes against South Carolina. Cool. I just want to see like at least an early type of success against somebody.
I think if
Okay.
UNO gets it's a success for the season. They
It
get the tournament.
is. But I would love them to play Jackson State. I really do. That would be really, really sweet. And a chance for them to at least win a tournament.
What if Jackson State don't make it?
Huh?
What if Jackson State don't make it?
Jackson State making it. Jackson State gonna make it. They gonna
I mean,
make
they
it, bro.
look like the favorites. All right, let's be real. Jackson
Dude,
State.
Oh, this boy, Justin
they're
Bacon,
coming.
boy.
They're coming for vengeance. You have to think about it. Last
who?
year,
Guess who?
Southern pulled the biggest upset in the history of the SWAC. You have to think if Jackson State wins that tournament and looking at the non-conference big wins they got, they was not playing in the play-in. They were slated for a 13. And guess who got the spot? Southeastern. Because they lost.
Mhm.
Trust me, Jackson State is that good. You thinking they about to 2 years in a row? No way. Tamika Reed ain't about to let it have that.
We'll
No.
see.
What
We
happened
will.
last year?
We will
And it
see.
was at the
We will
buzzer
see.
too.
Yep, it was at the buzzer.
Just so you
We-
know, March 11th is the start of the women's Southland tournament. March
Yeah,
10th, if the men even make it, is the start of the men's tournament. March 10th, well, look, that's an afterthought. My focus is on the women. If the men have shown you no reason to think there's any hope there, I mean, considering VK, they forced 26 turnovers last night and they still give up 89 points. That's disgusting.
Then they probably not gonna make the
No, they just went to last place with that loss last night. So no, they're not going to make it. And even if they do, it's a sacrificial lamb thing, right? I don't care who they play; they're going to get run. They can't stop a fart to win. That's how bad this men's team is. They can't stop. They can't stop nothing. They can't stop a cold in the cold. A flu in the cold. I can't think of another anecdote. But that is a historically bad defensive team. But that's why my positivity is to the women's team and Coach Trelanne Powell, and I just love the job she's done. I really do.
Me
They
too.
take these. I love the steps that she has taken with this team. And are we asking too much that they can make the tournament? No, no, I don't think so because they have shown you the grit, the determination, the fight, and they have been in big games. Excuse me, against Lamar twice. And it really is like last week, the game here where they lost late, the 3-pointer late by Lamar. Um, it's like, doggone it, y'all could do it. Y'all just need to make one more play to them, and they haven't done that yet. But I mean, it's still 4 more games to go before we hit the conference tournament in Lake Charles. And as I said, March 11th is the start of the women's tournament. So plan your schedule accordingly, BK. If we're talking about making this run, if UNO gets to, let's say, the final or whatnot.
And the way it's looking, they could if they have a good enough record and they already have a spot in the tournament. It's
Sure.
the fact now they have a chance to get to as high as a 4 seed, which
Would you
they'll
be
have
the
a
one
bye.
by?
Yes, they'll get that one by. So that'll really help them going forward and everything else. I really, think that this team has a great chance. And looking at Saturday's schedule, Jared, if you want to go, UNO Southeastern, the women tip off at 1 o'clock, and the
I think I'm
men
down
tip off
for
at
it.
3:30.
I think I'm down for it. We'll talk about that
Yes, we'll talk about
tomorrow because we got to get off this show. People got to go to work in the morning like me.
I mean,
But
get a kid ready for school, bring her to
yeah,
school.
all that good stuff.
Mhm.
So we thank everybody who joined the show tonight, who watched the show. We want to thank Coach Powell, Coach Biko Paris, Coach Mister Kirkwood for joining us. We are back tomorrow at 8 o'clock or 7:30. 7:30.
7:30.
7:30. Yeah,
7:30.
7:30. We're back at 7:30. First guest tomorrow at 7:30. The head coach of the Chalmette Owls, Coach Chandra Johnson. We're gonna have her tomorrow talk about the season and a little situation that happened that some people thought shouldn't happen. But I am with Coach Chandra Johnson on what happened because people need to learn accountability and responsibility. And at 8 o'clock, the head coach of the Lafayette Lady Lions, Coach Kananu. Yes, she will be joining us tomorrow. Coach Kananu is going to join us tomorrow. She says they call her Coach K. Well, she's going to join us tomorrow. They got a big game Thursday night. The state championship rematch from last year is happening in the quarterfinals against John Curtis. Big game this Thursday night. But we're going to get out of here. We're going to roll out. See y'all tomorrow. Thank you to my co-hosts, George Peppers and VK Jones. Thank you all for watching the Hash It Out Show. We'll see you all mañana. That means tomorrow.
Hey, my name is Trishawn Ware. I'm a DB for Brother Martin Crusaders, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.
Thank you for watching